discussions on because of employment programs or livelihood missions are there in the country. So women backed out from the labor market. There are other reasons, lack of part-time and long-term employment options. So there are multiple reasons, but I'll be focusing on one of the aspects, which is statistical invisibility, and highlighting mostly on socio-cultural reasons. So one of the prominent challenges which we face in terms of addressing issues pertaining to low female labor force participation is actually not being able to capture effectively women's work. And there has been statistical invisibility of women's work. Over the years, I mean, India has been a country, many of us know the participants from India who are here, and many the other participants from other countries also, they must be reading about India, that we have huge informality, more than 90% informal sector, like some of the South Asian nations. And informality is very high. That becomes a big challenge. Women are mostly into self-employment, piece-rated employment, domestic work, all of that. That keeps them at a very disadvantageous position in terms of access to social security. So when we talk about global goals like SDG target 5.5, one has to really look into situations of the situated context of women. If we just slightly go back to the previous slide and see that there is a marginal increase, you can see from during 2017, 18 and 18, 19 in the labor force participation, but how healthy is that increase? So from 23.3, it has increased to 24.5, but it is mostly because of an increase in self-employment. Now, when we talk about self-employment, one has to be very careful, because it is again vulnerable employment, it is again precarious employment, and mostly within the outside the coverage of labor legislations and social security schemes. And challenge with women workers here has been that most of them who are not into employer-employee arrangements, formal arrangements, and most of them who are into the broader framework of the informal sector, they are either self-employed, doing piece-rated work, all of these, or even if they're into manufacturing, it's low-end manufacturing. So many times it becomes a big challenge to adequately capture kinds of employment where women are located, and home-based employment is one such employment which does not get adequately reflected in national account statistics. So one of the biggest challenges of the country had been women's location in low-paying jobs, and that becomes a challenge for them, and many of them not being covered under national account statistics who are in the informal sector. So a prominent feminist debate has been when we look into works of Maria Mies and Michelle Barre, we see that women who are not into the economic mode of production, they are into the domestic mode of production, and there's evidence in a lot of feminist theorizing that women's unpaid work creates a lot of hindrance or is an obstacle for women's continuing participation in paid employment. So there's a clear-cut connection between paid work and unpaid work, and that cannot be disregarded. One has to really look into how these connections can be clearly established. And we see that if we look into most of the feminist Marxist literature, we see that unpaid work is something invisible,